For decades, scientists desperately covered this up, a discovery so powerful, they hoped it would never reach the public. Hidden files, erased evidence, and silent warnings, all to keep you from knowing the truth. But today, for the very first time, I'm exposing what they fought so hard to bury. Watch closely, because what you're about to see will leave you absolutely speechless. Welcome to Mysteries and Discoveries. If you're passionate about uncovering the hidden truths of space, science, and the universe, make sure to subscribe now so you never miss the knowledge they don't want you to know. Let's begin with one of the most shocking facts that was deliberately downplayed for decades: the evidence of microbial life beyond Earth. In 1996, a team of NASA scientists presented findings from a Martian meteorite known as ALH840001, discovered in Antarctica. Inside this rock were microscopic structures that resembled fossilized bacteria. The announcement shook the scientific community. Could this be proof that life once existed on Mars? But almost as soon as the story broke, skepticism flooded in. NASA officials quickly softened their stance, and funding for follow-up studies mysteriously dried up. Many researchers believe the discovery was buried under a wave of doubt, not because the evidence was weak, but because the implications were too world-changing. Imagine the global upheaval if humanity suddenly accepted that life is not unique to Earth. This is not an isolated case. Over the decades, numerous astronomical observations have been quietly filed away, declassified years later, or dismissed without proper investigation. Consider the famous WOW signal detected in 1977 by Dr. Jerry Ehrman at Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope. A powerful, unexplained burst of radio energy, lasting 72 seconds, came from deep space near the constellation Sagittarius. It was so extraordinary that Dr. Ehrman circled the signal printout and wrote a WOW in red pen. Yet instead of launching a massive, global search for the source, the event was largely pushed aside. Why? Because admitting we might have detected an intelligent signal could have changed the course of human history. Now think about this: what else has been hidden? In the archives of space agencies worldwide, there are thousands of anomalous observations that never make it to the public. Astronaut testimonies, satellite readings, unexplained lunar anomalies, all tided away, labeled as unconfirmed or of equipment glitches. But as technology advances and whistleblowers step forward, these fragments are beginning to paint a picture of a universe far stranger than we were led to believe. Before we dive deeper, let me remind you, if you haven't yet, subscribe to Mysteries and Discoveries. Because the more we uncover, the more you'll realize how much has been kept from you. One of the most astonishing areas of suppression involves dark matter and dark energy. Today, scientists openly admit that 95% of the universe is made of substances we cannot see, cannot touch, and cannot fully explain. But here's the shocking part: discussions about unseen cosmic forces date back to the 1930s. Fritz Zwicky, a Swiss astronomer, first observed galaxies moving in ways that suggested an invisible mass was influencing them. For decades, his findings were ridiculed and ignored. Only later, when evidence became overwhelming, did the scientific establishment acknowledge he was right. How many decades of discovery were lost because his truth was suppressed? This pattern repeats over and over: bold observations, immediate skepticism, and then silence. Yet slowly, the truth always resurfaces. Consider the discovery of exoplanets. In the mid-20th century, any scientist claiming to find planets around other stars was met with laughter. For years, proposals for exoplanet research were denied funding. Then, in 1992, astronomers Alexander Wolszczan and Dale Frail discovered planets orbiting a pulsar. The evidence was undeniable. Suddenly, the idea of other worlds became mainstream, and today, we know of thousands. But ask yourself, how much sooner could we have advanced if the establishment hadn't resisted? And this is exactly why so much remains hidden. Because admitting the truth often means rewriting textbooks, redistributing funding, and accepting that our understanding of the universe is fragile. Some scientists are brave enough to speak out, but institutions, with reputations and budgets on the line, prefer silence. Stay tuned, because we're only scratching the surface. From classified NASA images of lunar anomalies to unexplained energy readings on distant planets, what's coming next will challenge everything you thought you knew. As we move deeper into the truths long hidden from the public eye, let's turn to one of the most controversial episodes in modern science, the Apollo moon missions. Officially, these were humanity's first steps beyond Earth. But buried in the archives and whispered about by former NASA insiders are anomalies that have never been fully explained. Several astronauts reported unusual sightings during their missions. Buzz Aldrin himself admitted in later interviews that during Apollo 11, he and the crew witnessed a mysterious object following their spacecraft. At the time, NASA dismissed it as reflections from the spacecraft's panels or debris. But Aldrin later clarified that the object moved in ways inconsistent with debris. The transmission transcripts show moments where communication was deliberately cut or censored. Why? Because revealing unexplained activity in space would have ignited questions NASA wasn't prepared to answer. Even more mysterious are the so-called lunar anomalies. Photographs from the Apollo missions and later orbital missions show unusual structures and lights on the moon's surface. Some researchers suggest these are simply photographic artifacts. Yet others argue they are deliberate attempts to cover up artificial structures or unknown geological phenomena. In 1979, during a NASA symposium, physicist and engineer Maurice Chatelain claimed that Apollo astronauts indeed saw unexplained objects on the moon, and that NASA kept these encounters secret. Though his claims were later discredited in mainstream circles, one must ask, why would a respected engineer risk his reputation with such a statement? Hidden evidence isn't confined to space exploration alone. Let's examine something closer to home, the secrecy around our own oceans. While we've mapped the surface of Mars more thoroughly than the deep sea, a growing body of evidence suggests strange anomalies beneath the waves. The bloop, a massive underwater sound recorded in 1997 by NOAA, remains one of the loudest unexplained noises ever detected. Initially thought to be an icequake, later studies suggested it was too powerful and too organic to be explained so simply. Yet, the discussion around it quickly faded from public view. Why? Because acknowledging it as a biological source would mean admitting the presence of unknown life forms larger than any documented species. If you're finding these revelations as fascinating as I do, don't forget to subscribe to Mysteries and Discoveries. This channel is dedicated to exploring the truths hidden in plain sight, the stories buried beneath official reports, and the discoveries that challenge everything we thought we knew. By subscribing, you'll always stay one step ahead of the mainstream narrative. Now, let's return to the cosmos. Few people know that during the Cold War, space agencies weren't just racing to reach the moon, they were also racing to control information. Declassified CIA documents reveal that both the United States and the Soviet Union monitored strange space phenomena during the 1960s and 70s. There are accounts of satellites detecting unexplained bursts of radiation, odd trajectories of unidentified objects in orbit, and even sudden, unexplained malfunctions of entire spacecraft systems. In many cases, the official explanation was technical error. But the patterns are suspicious. Why do so many of these so-called errors occur near moments of unexplained observations? The story of the Pioneer 10 and 11 spacecraft provides another layer of intrigue. Launched in the early 1970s, these probes were designed to explore the outer planets. Yet as they traveled farther from the Sun, they began to experience what became known as the Pioneer anomaly, a small but measurable deviation in their trajectories. For decades, scientists argued about the cause. Was it thermal radiation from the spacecraft? Was it an error in calculations? Or was it something more profound, evidence that our understanding of gravity and space itself is incomplete? Though the anomaly was eventually attributed to heat recoil, many believe this explanation was a convenient cover for a deeper, unsolved mystery. And then there are the countless unexplained radio signals. Beyond the famous "wow" signal, astronomers have recorded fast radio bursts, powerful, millisecond-long flashes of energy from deep space. The first was detected in 2007, and since then, dozens more have been recorded. Their origins remain largely unknown. Some come from distant galaxies, others repeat in patterns that defy easy explanation. Officially, the scientific community maintains that they are natural astrophysical events. But privately, many researchers admit the possibility that at least some may be artificial, signals from advanced civilizations. Yet, instead of amplifying these discussions, institutions often downplay them, insisting the public not get carried away. Let's not forget the discoveries on Mars. In 1976, NASA's Viking landers conducted an experiment called the Labeled Release Test, designed to detect microbial life. The results? Positive. The sensors detected chemical reactions consistent with metabolism. At first, this was celebrated. But soon after, NASA shifted the narrative, arguing the results were due to unusual soil chemistry, not life. For decades, the official stance has been that Viking found no conclusive evidence of biology. Yet, one of the lead scientists, Dr. Gilbert Levin, maintained until his death that the experiment did, in fact, detect life. His papers and appeals were consistently ignored by mainstream science journals. Why such resistance? Because acknowledging life on Mars would mean rewriting not just biology textbooks, but humanity's place in the universe. Think about the implications: religion, philosophy, technology, everything changes the moment extraterrestrial life is confirmed. Meanwhile, let's step beyond Mars to another extraordinary secret: Saturn's moon Enceladus. Discovered to have geysers spewing water vapor into space, Enceladus hides a subsurface ocean beneath its icy crust. Cassini, the spacecraft that orbited Saturn, flew directly through these plumes and detected organic molecules. NASA celebrated the discovery, but what they didn't emphasize is that this moon possesses nearly all the conditions necessary for life. Why, then, is there not more urgency in exploring it? Could it be because the discovery of life in our solar system would be too disruptive to the narrative of Earth's uniqueness? Even Jupiter's moon Europa has been the subject of suspicious silence. In the 1990s, the Galileo spacecraft observed strange electromagnetic signatures near Europa, consistent with an ocean beneath its ice. Yet, despite decades of knowing this, funding for dedicated exploration missions was repeatedly delayed. Only recently, after public pressure and undeniable evidence, has NASA greenlit missions like Europa Clipper. What breakthroughs have been sitting on shelves, ignored, because institutions chose secrecy over disclosure? Another area of scientific suppression lies in the study of meteorites. Beyond ALH 84001, numerous meteorites have been discovered with unusual isotopic compositions and microstructures suggesting presolar origins. Some contain amino acids, the building blocks of life. These findings should be at the forefront of human knowledge, celebrated and investigated. Instead, they are quietly catalogued, with minimal public attention. Imagine if humanity fully embraced the idea that life seeds may have come from the stars. Our entire perspective on existence would shift overnight. And it's not just space or oceans, even Earth's own history contains suppressed science. Ancient civilizations demonstrated astronomical knowledge that should have been impossible for their time. The Antikythera mechanism, discovered off the coast of Greece, is a 2,000-year-old analog computer capable of predicting eclipses and planetary positions. For decades, mainstream historians dismissed it as an anomaly, downplaying its significance. Only modern imaging revealed the full complexity of the device, proving that ancient science was far more advanced than textbooks admit. Why suppress this knowledge? Because it disrupts the narrative of slow, linear progress. We can also look to the Great Pyramids of Giza, whose alignment with Orion's belt and precise construction raise questions that archaeologists still debate. Official explanations often avoid suggesting advanced knowledge, even when the evidence points in that direction. Why cling so tightly to conventional narratives? Because anything else threatens to upend entire academic frameworks. The truth is, suppression of discovery is not about denying knowledge, it's about control. Control over funding, over institutions, over the very way humanity perceives reality. By managing what discoveries are acknowledged and what are dismissed, those in power shape not only our science, but our imagination of what is possible. And this, perhaps, is the greatest cover-up of all, the quiet, persistent shaping of our worldview through omission. By hiding certain truths, scientists and institutions don't just protect their reputations, they protect the boundaries of human thought. But here, on Mysteries and Discoveries, we cross those boundaries. We explore the truths that others hesitate to touch. And as you'll see in the next, what's been hidden is far stranger, and far more incredible, than most people could ever imagine. As we uncover more of the secrets scientists have tried to keep hidden, we must confront one of the most fascinating and controversial subjects in astronomy, the mysteries of our own Sunday. For centuries, humanity has depended on this star for life. Yet, there are strange phenomena around the Sun that remain largely unexplained, and in some cases, deliberately downplayed. One such mystery is the solar corona. The corona, the outermost atmosphere of the Sun, is millions of degrees hotter than its surface. This defies basic physics. Imagine placing a campfire in the middle of a frozen field, yet somehow the field is hotter than the fire itself. For decades, scientists avoided this puzzle, because the answers pointed toward forces they could not fully explain. Only recently has research into magnetic reconnection and plasma waves offered partial explanations. But ask yourself, why did it take so long for mainstream science to admit it didn't understand something as fundamental as our own star? Could it be that admitting ignorance risks unraveling the authority of institutions that claim to have all the answers? And speaking of mysteries close to home, what about the strange objects occasionally spotted near the Sun? Over the years, satellite images from missions like SOHO have captured unidentified objects apparently moving around the solar surface. NASA typically explains them away as image artifacts, cosmic rays hitting the camera, or data glitches. Yet some of these objects appear structured, symmetrical, even metallic in nature. Could some of these anomalies be artificial? Or are they natural phenomena that defy explanation? What do you think? Should we accept the official narrative of glitches, or is there something more? Leave your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to see how many of you believe these solar mysteries are more than accidents. Beyond the Sun, we find equally unsettling mysteries in the distant reaches of the solar system. Take Pluto, for example. For decades, this small, icy world was considered unimportant, downgraded from planet to dwarf planet. Yet when the New Horizons spacecraft flew past Pluto in 2015, it revealed a landscape far stranger than expected. Smooth, icy plains that seem geologically young. Mountains made of water ice. Possible cryovolcanoes spewing material from beneath the surface. This isn't the dead rock we were told to expect. Instead, Pluto appears to be a dynamic, evolving world. Why, then, was Pluto dismissed for so long? Could it be that by trivializing distant worlds, institutions kept attention and funding away from the possibility that life or activity might exist in unexpected places? And then there's the case of Planet 9. For years, astronomers mocked the idea of a hidden planet beyond Neptune. But in recent times, mathematical models and unusual orbital patterns of distant objects strongly suggest that a massive, unseen planet could be lurking in the far reaches of the solar system. If it exists, Planet 9 could be several times the size of Earth. Yet, despite mounting evidence, official confirmation remains elusive. Why? Perhaps because admitting the existence of a massive, hidden planet would force a re-evaluation of everything we know about solar system formation. Do you think Planet 9 is real? Tell me in the comments. I'm curious how many of you believe in this hidden giant. Let's now move even farther out, into the vastness between the stars. One of the strangest modern discoveries is Oumuamua, the interstellar object that passed through our solar system in 2017. At first, it was thought to be a comet or asteroid. But its shape, its acceleration, and its unusual reflectivity defied conventional explanations. Harvard astronomer Avi Loeb even suggested it might be an artificial probe sent by an advanced civilization. The mainstream quickly dismissed this theory, labeling it sensational. Yet to this day, no natural explanation fully accounts for Oumuamua's behavior. Why was the possibility of an artificial origin so quickly ridiculed? Why was the public not encouraged to openly debate such an extraordinary possibility? Could it be because institutions fear the chaos such an admission might unleash? And Oumuamua wasn't the only one. In 2019, another interstellar object, Comet Borisov, was detected. Unlike Oumuamua, Borisov behaved more like a typical comet, but its mere existence confirmed that interstellar visitors are not rare. This means countless objects, natural or artificial, could be drifting between stars, entering solar systems like ours. The question is, how many of them have already passed us unnoticed? Now let's shift our gaze to signals from space. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, remain one of the greatest enigmas of modern astronomy. Some FRBs are so powerful, they release more energy in a millisecond than the sun emits in days. A few even repeat in strange, irregular patterns. While most scientists cautiously attribute them to exotic stars or black holes, some admit, privately, that the signals bear resemblance to artificial transmissions. Imagine civilization scattered across the cosmos, sending out powerful bursts as beacons, or even as natural byproducts of technologies we can't comprehend. Yet, when FRBs are announced to the public, the possibility of intelligence is usually dismissed out of hand. Why not explore that possibility openly? Why discourage speculation? This brings us to one of the most disturbing possibilities, that governments and agencies know far more than they admit. Whistleblowers have occasionally stepped forward with claims of classified research into anomalous objects in orbit, recovered materials, or strange craft tracked by military radar. While skeptics dismiss these claims, the sheer number of consistent testimonies raises questions. Could it be that some of the mysteries of space aren't simply natural, but technological? If so, who built them? And why keep it hidden? Even our own moon contains secrets yet to be fully acknowledged. Seismometers placed on the lunar surface during Apollo missions recorded moonquakes. Some of these quakes occurred after meteor impacts, but instead of absorbing the shock like Earth, the moon rang like a bell for hours. This suggests a strange internal structure, possibly hollow, or at least very different from Earth's. While scientists have proposed explanations, the anomaly remains intriguing. Yet you'll rarely hear this discussed in mainstream space documentaries. Why? Because the idea of a hollow or unusual moon invites too many unsettling questions. What do you think? Is the moon a natural satellite, or is there something more unusual about it? Comment below with your thoughts. And while we're on the subject of the moon, consider the reports of unusual lights observed on its surface. Astronomers dating back centuries have documented transient lunar phenomena, sudden flashes, glows, or mists. Modern science acknowledges some of these may be due to outgassing or impacts. But the fact that they occur at all suggests the moon is more geologically active than once thought. If the moon is active, what does that mean for the history of our solar system? Could these lights be something else entirely? Let's now return to Earth, where some of the strangest suppressed discoveries lie beneath our feet. In Siberia, the Tunguska event of 1908 flattened thousands of square kilometers of forest with an explosion more powerful than any nuclear bomb. Officially, it was caused by the airburst of a meteor or comet. Yet no impact crater was ever found. To this day, the exact cause remains uncertain. Some fringe theories suggest exotic explanations, from antimatter annihilation to advanced technology. While mainstream science dismisses these, the reluctance to deeply investigate alternative explanations is telling. Why are scientists so quick to close the case, when so many questions remain unanswered? And if you haven't yet subscribed, take a moment to do so, because the truths we uncover here on Mysteries and Discoveries will keep challenging everything you thought you knew. Now let me ask you something, if scientists and governments truly know more than they admit, why do you think they choose to keep it hidden? Is it to prevent panic? To preserve their power? Or maybe the truth is simply so far beyond human understanding that it would force us to rewrite everything we believe about civilization itself? Tell me what you think in the comments, I'll be looking out for your ideas. Let's go even deeper into the cosmos, where some of the most mind-bending discoveries continue to challenge science. Few objects are as mysterious as black holes. These cosmic giants are often portrayed as simple vacuum cleaners of the universe, swallowing everything in their path. But the truth is far stranger. Black holes don't just consume, they bend reality itself. According to Einstein's theory of general relativity, their immense gravity warps spacetime to such a degree that time slows down near the event horizon. That means if you were orbiting close to a black hole, just a few hours for you could mean years, decades, or even centuries passing for those far away. Think about that, black holes are not just cosmic objects, they are natural time machines. If that doesn't challenge our understanding of reality, what does? And here's the shocking part. Some physicists suggest black holes could actually be gateways, not to destruction, but to other regions of space, or even other universes. This isn't science fiction. The mathematics of general relativity allow for the possibility of wormholes, shortcuts through space-time that could, in theory, connect distant points. While mainstream science insists we have no evidence for such gateways, why is it that so many leading physicists continue to explore the possibility? Could it be because the evidence is more compelling than they admit? Now, let's talk about something even stranger, the information paradox. According to quantum theory, information can never be truly destroyed. Yet when matter falls into a black hole, it seems to vanish forever. This contradiction between quantum mechanics and general relativity has troubled scientists for decades. Stephen Hawking himself suggested that information is lost, but later admitted the paradox may hint at a deeper truth about the universe. Some theories even propose that the surface of a black hole, its event horizon, may act like a cosmic hologram, storing information in ways we don't yet understand. What do you think? Could black holes actually be massive cosmic hard drives, keeping a record of everything they consume? Let me know in the comments. Moving from black holes to another puzzle, dark matter. Scientists now admit that the visible universe, the stars, planets, galaxies, everything we can see, makes up less than 5% of what exists. The rest? Roughly 27% is dark matter and 68% is dark energy. These mysterious substances are invisible, undetectable by normal instruments, and yet they govern the fate of galaxies. Dark matter reveals itself only through gravity. Galaxies spin in ways that defy physics, stars at the edges orbit just as fast as those near the center. Without dark matter, they should be flung into space. So either dark matter exists, or our understanding of gravity is incomplete. For decades, evidence of this invisible force has been piling up, yet scientists still cannot say what it is. Could it be undiscovered particles? Could it be something far stranger, like alternate dimensions interacting with our own? And then there's dark energy, the force driving the accelerated expansion of the universe. Imagine throwing a ball into the air and, instead of slowing down, it keeps speeding up into the sky. That's what the universe is doing. In the 1990s, two separate teams of scientists discovered this shocking acceleration. The reaction? Instead of celebrating a paradigm-shattering discovery, many physicists struggled to accept it, downplaying its implications. Why? Because dark energy suggests the universe's future is not eternal stability but an ever-accelerating expansion, a cold, dark end where galaxies drift so far apart that even light cannot connect them. Some researchers suggest dark energy may even fluctuate, meaning the universe could one day reverse course and collapse in a big crunch. Others propose cycles of expansion and contraction, hinting at a universe with no beginning and no end. Yet despite these possibilities, discussion of dark energy is kept strangely quiet outside scientific circles. Why not bring these profound truths to the public? Shouldn't humanity be allowed to openly consider the ultimate fate of the cosmos? Let's push even further into strange territory. Have you ever heard of time anomalies reported by astronauts and pilots? While mainstream science rarely acknowledges them, there are accounts of sudden time distortions during spaceflight and even high-altitude flight. Instruments desynchronize, clocks drift, and in rare cases, entire minutes seem to vanish. Could these be mere malfunctions, or do they suggest that space-time itself is less stable than we assume? If time is not fixed, if reality itself can bend, what does that mean for our place in the universe? And here's another unsettling idea, the possibility that we live inside a cosmic simulation. Leading scientists like Elon Musk, Nick Bostrom, and even some physicists argue that the probability we live in base reality is astonishingly low. They argue that if advanced civilizations can run simulations indistinguishable from reality, the odds are overwhelming that we are inside one. While this idea may sound like science fiction, some anomalies in physics, such as the discrete nature of space at the quantum level, give it credibility. But here's the catch: governments and scientific bodies rarely encourage public discussion of this theory. Why? because the implications would be too destabilizing. If reality itself is an artificial construct, what does that say about everything we know? Do you believe we could be living inside a simulation? Share your thoughts in the comments. I'm curious to know if you think our reality is the ultimate truth or just a coded illusion. Now, let's return to observable space. One of the most haunting mysteries lies in the Great Attractor, a gravitational anomaly pulling entire galaxies toward it, including our own Milky Way. Scientists can't fully explain it. It's hidden behind the plane of the Milky Way, obscured by dust and stars, making it incredibly difficult to observe. Some propose it's a massive cluster of galaxies. Others think it may be something even stranger, a concentration of dark matter, or something entirely unknown. The fact that billions of stars and galaxies are being drawn toward this unseen force should be front-page news everywhere. And yet, most people have never heard of it. Why keep quiet about such a profound mystery? Speaking of galactic-scale enigmas, have you heard of the cold spot in the cosmic microwave background? This faint afterglow of the Big Bang should be nearly uniform. But one region of the sky is significantly colder than the rest. Some scientists argue it's just a statistical fluke. Others suggest it may be evidence of a parallel universe, brushing against our own. If true, it would mean our cosmos is not the only one, just one bubble in a vast multiverse. Yet, this possibility is treated more like fringe speculation than a serious avenue of exploration. Why discourage the public from imagining a reality beyond our own universe? Perhaps because the multiverse would shatter humanity's sense of uniqueness even more than alien life. And finally, let's touch on the mystery of consciousness in relation to the cosmos. While neuroscience studies the brain, a growing number of scientists are exploring whether consciousness itself may be a fundamental property of the universe, not just an accident of biology. Some theories suggest consciousness could be linked to quantum processes, woven into the very fabric of space-time. If that's true, then the universe is not a cold, dead machine, but a living, participatory system. And if consciousness is fundamental, what happens when it interacts with black holes, dark matter, or cosmic structures we don't yet understand? Could the universe itself be aware in some way? If you're still watching, you know by now, the mysteries we uncover are endless, and each one is more mind-bending than the last. That's why it's so important to subscribe to Mysteries and Discoveries, because mainstream channels rarely go this deep. Here, we ask the questions others avoid. Throughout history, discoveries that challenge the established view of the world have often been ignored, ridiculed, or outright suppressed. While today we look to space telescopes and particle accelerators for answers, some of the most shocking clues may actually lie here on Earth, buried in ancient ruins and forgotten records. Take, for example, the Piri Reis map, created in 1513 by an Ottoman admiral. This map depicts parts of South America and Antarctica with uncanny accuracy, long before Antarctica was officially discovered, and centuries before modern mapping technology. Even stranger, the coastline of Antarctica appears without ice, suggesting the map was based on sources dating back thousands of years, to a time when the continent wasn't frozen. How could this be possible? Did ancient civilizations possess advanced geographic knowledge that rivaled or even surpassed our own? Then there are the megalithic structures scattered across the globe. Stonehenge, the pyramids of Giza, the Nazca lines in Peru, each of these monuments carries astronomical alignments that suggest a profound understanding of the heavens. The Great Pyramid, for instance, aligns almost perfectly with true north and encodes mathematical constants such as pi and the golden ratio. Some researchers argue these alignments were accidental, but when you look at the precision, the question becomes unavoidable: how did people thousands of years ago acquire such advanced knowledge? In South America, the ruins of Puma Punku defy explanation. Massive stone blocks weighing hundreds of tons are carved with machine-like precision, fitted together so tightly that even a razor blade cannot slip between them. Mainstream archaeology attributes these to simple stone tools, but many engineers disagree, noting the level of accuracy is beyond what primitive tools could achieve. Could it be that an advanced civilization, now lost to history, once walked the earth? Now let's consider something even more unsettling. Across ancient cultures, myths consistently describe knowledge coming from the sky. The Sumerians spoke of the Anunnaki, beings who descended from the heavens to teach humanity agriculture, mathematics, and astronomy. The Dogon tribe in Africa, isolated for centuries, held detailed knowledge of the Sirius star system, including the existence of Sirius B, a dwarf star invisible to the naked eye, which modern astronomy only confirmed in the 20th century. How could such information exist without telescopes? Is it mere coincidence, or does it point to something greater, perhaps contact with advanced beings? Of course, many scientists dismiss these accounts as myth. But isn't it strange that similar stories of knowledge from the stars appear in cultures separated by oceans and thousands of years? Why would humanity's earliest civilizations consistently describe wisdom arriving from above unless there was some truth behind it? Now, let's shift to forbidden archaeology. In 1994, in Mexico, a tomb was opened in the ancient city of Palenque, revealing a sarcophagus lid covered in intricate carvings. At first glance, it shows King Pakal, a Mayan ruler, reclining. But many have noticed striking details. He appears to be seated inside a machine, with his hands manipulating controls and his feet pressing on what looks like pedals. Flames or exhaust seem to burst from the base. Mainstream archaeologists call this symbolism, but others argue it bears an uncanny resemblance to an astronaut piloting a spacecraft. If that's true, then ancient records may not just be myths, but actual accounts of encounters with advanced technology. And it's not just in Mesoamerica. Ancient India's texts, like the Vedas and Mahabharata, describe flying machines called Vimanas, aerial chariots capable of traversing the skies and even space. They are said to have been powered by advanced energy sources and used in wars between gods. Skeptics dismiss these as legends, but some descriptions are astonishingly technical, mentioning propulsion, fuel types, and even aerial battles resembling modern dogfights. If these were purely mythological, why would they include such mechanical details? We must also consider the mystery of UPARTs, out-of-place artifacts. These are objects that don't fit into conventional history. From ancient batteries like the Baghdad battery, which may have generated electricity, to mysterious carvings resembling helicopters and submarines in the Temple of Seti in Abydos, Egypt. Each discovery forces us to ask, are we underestimating the scientific knowledge of ancient civilizations, or is there something more, evidence of outside influence? Another puzzle lies in astronomical alignments. The Nazca lines in Peru, enormous geoglyphs carved into the desert floor, depict animals, plants, and geometric shapes only visible from above. Some of these align with celestial events, while others appear to point toward constellations. Why create such massive works of art that cannot be appreciated from the ground? Was it a message to the gods, or to visitors from the skies? And then there's Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, perhaps the most shocking archaeological site of all. Dated to around 12,000 years ago, it predates agriculture and writing, yet features massive stone pillars arranged in precise circles. The carvings on these pillars depict animals, symbols, and even what some scholars argue are constellations. According to conventional history, humans at this time were simple hunter-gatherers. But Göbekli Tepe proves they had not only the ability to build monumental architecture but also advanced astronomical knowledge. Why is this site not more widely discussed? Could it be because it rewrites the timeline of human civilization entirely? The question then becomes, if advanced knowledge once existed on Earth, where did it come from, and where did it go? Did humanity develop technology and understanding far earlier than we believe, only for it to be lost in a cataclysm? Or were we taught by beings from beyond, and that history was intentionally buried? And here's something I want to ask you directly: if we were to uncover undeniable proof that ancient civilizations were guided by advanced knowledge, possibly even by extraterrestrial contact, how would that change the way you see humanity today? Would it fill you with pride, fear, or perhaps hope that we're not alone in the universe? Drop your answers in the comments, because this is where history and mystery collide. For decades, scientists desperately covered this up, yet as we've seen, no matter how much they try to bury the truth, pieces of it always find their way to the surface. From black holes that warp time itself, to the unseen forces of dark matter and dark energy, to the possibility that our entire reality is a coded simulation, the universe is filled with truths that challenge everything we think we know. And it's not just the cosmos above. Here on Earth, ancient ruins, forbidden artifacts, and lost knowledge whisper of a past far more advanced and far more mysterious than textbooks are willing to admit. Could it be that the same secrets scientists hesitate to reveal today are echoes of knowledge humanity once had, only to lose it in the shadows of time? If all of this connects, if ancient civilizations, modern science, and cosmic discoveries are part of one vast hidden picture, then maybe the real story is not about what's out there, but about why we are being kept in the dark. Is it fear that we're not ready? Is it control, power held by the few? Or is it because the truth is so staggering, so unimaginable, that it would change civilization forever? Think about it. If tomorrow, scientists admitted that alien life has already been detected, or that ancient humans had knowledge equal to our own, or that the universe is one of countless others, how would that change everything from religion, to politics, to your daily life? These are not small questions. They strike at the very foundation of who we are and where we came from. What makes it even more remarkable is that these mysteries aren't buried in fantasy, they are hidden in plain sight. The mathematics of relativity. The faint signals in the cosmic background. The alignment of ancient stone. The unexplained artifacts in forgotten tombs. All of them whispering the same truth, that the story of humanity and the story of the universe is far bigger than we've been told. And here's the reality, the search for answers is far from over. Every year, new telescopes, new probes, and new discoveries bring us closer to the edge of the unknown. James Webb is already showing us galaxies that formed earlier than anyone thought possible. CERN continues to probe the invisible world of particles, chasing the fingerprints of dark matter. And deep beneath the Earth, detectors sit in silence, waiting to capture evidence of the universe's most elusive secrets. Yet, even as we search, the biggest question remains: when the truth is finally undeniable, will those in power share it freely, or will they try once more to hide it? That's why channels like Mysteries and Discoveries exist, because asking questions is the first step toward uncovering the answers. Here, we don't look away from the uncomfortable truths. We face them head on. Because maybe, just maybe, the answers we seek are not in the future but have been with us all along, hidden in the stars, buried in the earth, and waiting for us to finally notice. So as we close this incredible exploration, let me ask you, which of the mysteries we uncovered tonight shook you the most? Was it the reality-bending power of black holes? The hidden force of dark matter? The forbidden artifacts of ancient civilizations? Or the possibility that reality itself is not what it seems? Share your thoughts in the comments, because your voice adds to the conversation, and together we may get closer to the truth. And before you go, don't forget to subscribe to Mysteries and Discoveries, hit the like button, and share this video with others who love exploring the unknown. The more minds we bring into this search, the closer we all get to uncovering what has been hidden for far too long. Until next time, stay curious, keep questioning, and never stop seeking the truths they don't want you to know.